kidneys were fine. Mine had failed. When one needs a kidney transplant, one has two options: wait for a deceased donor on a waiting list, or find a living donor. This is often called the big ask, the big give. I didn't ask, but my sister told me she would be willing to give. For her, this meant a lot of blood draws, a lot of appointments, a lot of conversations, a lot of consideration, a lot of signing on lines acknowledging that this could have life-altering consequences for her. And still, she did it, and she assured me that everything would be okay. On the morning of November 14th, 2017, we met up together at the hospital. She was rolled back first. As she left, she squeezed my hand and gave me a reassuring smile. 1 hour later, I was lying outside the room where I knew she was. I could see the bright lights over her operating table, knowing that her kidney had been removed, ready to put it in me. I was taken into the adjoining room and moved onto a cold, hard table, and the next thing I knew, I was opening my eyes as somebody was saying to me, "Laurie, your sister's kidney is in you and it's working perfectly." I hardly knew what to think, but I was filled with gratitude and relief. I was worried about her, not knowing what the future held for her. I was worried about the responsibility that this might be for me. I knew it would be a lot of maintenance and that this kidney would require a lot of care. When we met up together, we recognized that we shared a bond that we hadn't had before. Not only did we share an organ, we also now shared this experience. The next day, she walked 11 laps around the hospital floor. 6 months later, she told me she felt like nothing had ever happened. We had both been warned that this could have consequences, but the consequences have been gratitude. I can never thank her for what she did for me. I didn't know how ill I was until I was well. She gave me back a huge part of my life that had been missing, and I've been able to use that part of my life. My goal is to share that gratitude every day that I live. There's not a day goes by that I don't think about it and I don't think about her and what I have now that I didn't have before. We share an investment in how we're both doing. We check on each other. And for some reason, she's just as grateful as I am.
On August 22nd of last year, 2018, my granddaughter Jessica felt like her emotional pain was so great that she needed to end her life. Her younger sister found her, called 911, and the first responders came and took her to the hospital in Layton. They put her on life support. My wife and I, as soon as we found out, went to the hospital to see what we could find out. We went into the room where Jessica was. She was connected to all kinds of life support machines. No movement, her eyes were closed. My wife touched her and tried to talk to her, and there was no response at all. Our daughter, her mother, was told that even if she was to survive, she wouldn't be the same person. The decision was made to take her off of life support. And even at that, I guess there's a lot of real strict rules and regulations for doctors when it comes to declaring someone dead before they can donate their organs. And it took a couple of days, and finally the doctor said she was brain dead. Her organs then would be transported from the hospital in Layton by a helicopter to University Hospital in Salt Lake City. Intermountain Donor Services was very good about keeping us updated about how everything was progressing. They told us about what time a helicopter would be going over our home in Bountiful with her organs. We went outside, and sure enough, we could. We saw a helicopter go over about that time. We don't know if it's the correct one or not, but we felt like it was. Now, I don't know, I think most of you are similar to me. Since I was a little kid, I'd see a helicopter or hear a helicopter, I would look up for it, or a low-flying airplane. Now when I hear a helicopter, I still look up, but I have different thoughts than I did before. Intermountain Donor Services also was very good about sharing with us a letter telling us who received her donors, not by name, but a little bio of male or female, about their age, whether they were married or had children. And so luckily everything went well that way. It's in the letter at the very end it says, although it cannot compensate for your loss, I hope you will find some comfort in knowing that through the gift of donation, Jessica has brought new hope to many individuals awaiting transplants. I would like to share some information about that outcome. And personally, I've known several people that have been recipients of donors' organs, and they are so grateful, and their families are grateful. And although losing our granddaughter this way was sad, and we still grieve, we are grateful to know that something good has come out of it.
I do not know my organ donor. I don't even know her name. What I do know is that she was a female in her 20s from the state of Texas. I also know she is the greatest person I've never known. I imagine she was the kind of person who wanted to help and serve others. And even though that mission in her life was fulfilled very differently I'm sure than the one she imagined for herself. I am so grateful that she chose to register to be an organ donor and save up to 8 lives, one of those including mine. I want to thank her for taking the burden of loss and sacrifice and grief away from my own family. I want to thank her because my family now no longer has to know and feel as hers now does. I want to thank her parents for raising someone who was aware of her own mortality enough to register to be an organ donor and make that decision, and to her family for honoring her choice. I want to thank her parents for raising someone who clearly respected her body. My transplant surgeon described her organs as being beautiful. When I was beginning to regain consciousness in the ICU after my surgery, my lung transplant coordinator came in to check in on myself and my family to congratulate us and see how we were doing. He was the one responsible for matching up the ones in need of transplant and the organ donors. And my dad was quick to ask him what he could tell us about my organ donor. And he couldn't say much. He could tell us what I told you already, was that she was a female in her 20s from the state of Texas. But then he got choked up, which was really abnormal to see from a physician. And he said, "The Lord gave you a good person." I know he meant that. I know he believed that because of how he reacted. I've never forgotten it. And I wish I could look at you and say that that has made things easier, but it hasn't. I wish I could be as good a person as she was, and clearly I'm not there yet because I'm still the one here needing that time. And while she may not hear that the Lord gave her a good person, I hope that she can hear that the Lord gave her a person who was doing their best to be better. The other day, I was even waiting patiently in line to return some items at an arts and crafts store. There was one woman in front of me, and she had a whole basket of stuff, and I was feeling impatient. I was wanting to return my thing and get on to the next thing and get on with my day. So I was just waiting there, looking around, looking up at the walls, and I saw a little home decor sign that said, "And together they built a life they loved." And my knee-jerk reaction to that kind of stuff is that it usually feels really cliche and cheesy, and like, that's really convenient. Can this possibly be true? And suddenly I realized I knew exactly what that sign was talking about. I thought about my organ donor. I thought about how together we came together to make this physical life and create something that I hope she looks on and she loves, and that she can feel as proud of me as I am of her and what she's given me. We often know the ones we love, personally, intimately, by sweet, sincere, and even sexual sentiments. We can feel them, see them, hear them. We call them by name, and that name becomes a sign and a symbol for all they embody and mean to us. I do not know her name, her face, her voice, but I do call her donor, and that name means something to me. I feel her in me with every breath. We are intimate strangers, which is perhaps the strangest thing, but we are. Our love story is not one of romantic sentiments, but of raw sacrifice. She saved me from my long suffering with her very life. If that's not love, then I don't know what is. My eyes are dry, my words are wet.